Welcome back to Passing Time with Craig. As always, I'm your host, Craig. And today we are once again talking about the Calgary Fringe Festival happening July 31st to August 8th. Another wonderful guest for you. Bryan Sandberg is my guest. He joined me to record this episode to chat about Pray the Gay to Stay, his new show that's going to be, he's been working on it, and it's going to be premiering at this year's Calgary Film Festival. He is a Calgarian, what's great about Fringe is you get artists from all over the world, but they also showcase so many great talents here, and that's what's going on with Bryan. So we're going to talk about his show, Pray the Gay to Stay, how it came to be, becoming a stand-up comic, how that's helped him to create a 50-minute show, and of course, talking about growing up queer in a very religious family. We're going to dive into it a bit. We want you to go see the show, so go check it out. But it's a pretty interesting conversation. Had a great time chatting with Bryan. So please enjoy my conversation with Bryan Sandberg on Pray the Gay to Stay. Bryan, thank you so much for being here today.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm looking forward to chatting with you.
I'm very excited to chat with you. We're going to talk about Fringe, your show, but I kind of before we get into it, because this is very exciting for you. I'm sure and it's a lot. But this is not your first time on stage. You've done improv, you've done stand-up comedy. So kind of when did entering that world of become a part of your life? When did you decide, let me try this out, let me see if I enjoy this or not?
So I've actually been performing on stage since first grade.
Wow.
When I was in grade school, our school had this thing where there would be a stage show every year, and it was a very small school, so all of the kids were in it all the time. So I just grew up with stage experience being part of my life. By the time I was about in high school, I started watching Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Love that show.
And that show was a huge inspiration for me. I was just blown away by pretty much every episode. By the time I was in high school, YouTube started being a thing. So I would watch clips of improv on YouTube, a lot of the Whose Line Is It Anyway? And then there was a spin-off show called The Green Screen Show, which I would watch too. And I just knew that I wanted to do that.
Yeah.
Thankfully, at my high school, there was a teacher there who had learned at Second City.
Oh, cool.
So he actually started a little improv thing at my high school. And that was kind of like my first experience with improv workshops. By the time I got to university, there was an improv team already there. And I watched them kind of doing their stuff. And I basically said to myself, I can do that.
Yeah.
And I showed up as a freshman. I watched the first live show that they did. By the second live show, I was already cast in it. And by my sophomore year of university, I was a co-coordinator of that improv team.
Wow.
Yeah. So
what were you going to university for? Was it in the entertainment world, or were you still trying to be that no, this can't be a real thing, I gotta go do something serious?
So when I was growing up, I really wanted to be a filmmaker. Mm-hmm. I loved writing scripts, and the way my imagination works, I have something called hyperphantasia, where I can basically imagine things with a cinematic level of clarity.
Wow. So
I really, really wanted to be in film and make the things I imagine come to life.
Yeah.
However, once I started doing the film classes at school, I realized I don't actually care that much. About film. There was one class where we were watching a movie, and I fully fell asleep, and I think I must have hallucinated the rest of the movie.
Wow.
Because when the professor asked us questions about it, I was like, that never happened. Why aren't we talking about the part where a hand reached out of the screen and handed me a jar?
Yeah.
And I was like, that didn't happen. That didn't actually happen. You were hallucinating
Yeah,
the movie.
yeah.
So I was like, you know what? Maybe film isn't for me. But I found what was for me was improv and also stage acting.
Well, it's so funny too, because those, I've chatted with different entertainers on here before, and it's like, you know, there's joys about, creating film or television shows or web series, and then there's also the joys of like doing stand up or doing live theater. And like it's so interesting because with film, you put all this work into it and you're working on it for months, years even, and then you have to wait for it to be completed and then released to the world. Stand up, you work on this stuff, but you go and do, and you get the audience reaction right away. It's just that immediate thing. So it's kind of nicer because you're like, oh, okay, I did spend a lot of time on this and that joke didn't land. That sucks. Or, wow, that was even better than I thought. And but you get that immediate response and you can change things. Okay, they didn't hit that joke that didn't hit as hard as I thought it would. Let me try it this way tonight. And then the next night you're like, oh, see, there we go.
Yeah, there are so many differences between like film and stage and stand up and improv. And there's even differences like between stand up and improv.
Yeah.
And I think that's why going into a variety of crafts, a variety of disciplines can be really rewarding for somebody who is a performer and an entertainer. And it's also, I think, why sometimes people might try something and then be like, maybe I'm not cut out for this. I didn't enjoy that. But really, like, there's so many differences that it could just be that that particular craft wasn't the right fit for you. And maybe if you try a different one, you'll find you love that one a lot more. For me, with film, there were definitely times where, I've tried so hard to make my passion for film be a real thing.
Yeah.
And then I realized I'm not actually passionate about film. That was just something I told myself when I was a teenager because I enjoyed watching movies.
Yeah.
But then I found like I was so passionate about making characters and performing as them and entertaining people on stage. And I feel so comfortable when I am on stage. I describe being on stage as like as comfortable as being in my house.
Yeah.
Which is wild because I think that's like the opposite of what a lot of people have.
Yeah.
My experience leading up to stage shows is it will be anxiety, anxiety, anxiety. On stage, fine.
Yeah.
The best. And then off stage, anxiety, anxiety, anxiety. So, I mean, that's kind of part of why I'm like, I need more stage time so I can have more of that.
Yeah. Yeah. That is fair. That is fair. So, stand up in particular is very vulnerable because you are, you're telling jokes and oftentimes it's stories about your own life. And of course, everybody, you add some liberties to it to maybe make it more entertaining, more funny.
Yes.
We all know that. But to do a 5-minute stand-up set to now you've created this fringe show. Is this your first fringe show you created?
Yes.
Okay, so what made us decide to jump into this world of a 50-minute show, Pray the Gay to Stay? What was it about you in your life now that you're like, this is what I want to do, this is what I want to try, and how did you go about this process?
So I always wanted to do a show about my life. Growing up, my life was very dramatic. And after I got removed from that situation, or rather after I escaped that situation, a better term for it, I would tell people about what happened in my life. And the big reactions I would get would be like, that's so brave. That's so incredible that you're sharing this story, or they would fully start crying.
Yeah.
And that's when I kind of realized, what happened to me was a big deal.
Right.
And I would tell some stories about it on stage in my stand-up, but I always had this feeling that like someday I should just do a show about it. There's this thing in stand-up where people want to do their album. So it's like a 1 hour album that's maybe 45 minutes or 50 minutes of content.
Yep.
And that was my original concept for what I thought this opportunity would be. However, as my career kind of expanded and I got further into other crafts, particularly the sketch comedy monologues, which I developed a lot through shout out to Carla Marks and her show Leopard Lounge, where I have done several sketch comedy character monologues there. I realized I really didn't want it to be a 1 hour stand-up special that was the show, quote unquote.
Right.
I really wanted it to be a show that not only told my story, but I think also represented my career as a performer. So in order to do that, I wanted to find a way to incorporate all these different elements. And the best way to showcase a show that had different elements to it would be to put it up at the Calgary Fringe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's, I've already, spoken to someone else about Fringe this year. We got another guest coming up, so the listeners are familiar with it. But it is, just love the Fringe because if people don't really know what it's like, you get this opportunity to see these shows that maybe don't fit into certain categories, or there's comedy mixed with magic, comedy mixed with, burlesque. There's just more serious things. Like there's just music, there's everything. And so it's just so fun that, and a way for people to see a different show.
Yeah. You can do almost whatever you want at Fringe, which is what makes it really exciting. And like, also leading up to the Fringe, when I applied for the Fringe, there was no show.
Yeah.
Like all I had for the show was a description of what I wanted to do that I put into a Google form. And in December, when I applied, that was all I had. And then they do a lottery draw to decide who gets in. I did not expect to actually get it. I was just like, let's just have the experience of trying so that we can build up our confidence. And then I got drawn and I realized, oh, I have to actually write a show now.
Whoops.
Whoops. Yeah. But it worked out, and it was a really great experience doing it.
So, okay, we have to find this right balance because I don't want to really spoil things or give people because we want people to go see your show.
Yes.
But
come see my show.
Come see the show, but we can kind of give them a little bit of tease. So, correct me if I'm wrong. You were born in the Philippines?
Yes. I was born in the Philippines.
When did you guys move to Canada?
Okay, so this is a little bit more complicated than I think I make it sound in the show.
Okay.
But I was born in the Philippines, and then shortly after we moved to Canada. So I would say from around the ages of 0 to 3, I was in Canada.
Okay.
And then after that, we moved back to the Philippines, and I was in the Philippines until I was 18. And then at 18, I moved back to Canada by myself for university.
Okay, and so you come from a very religious family.
Yes.
And if people couldn't tell by the fact that your show is called Pray the Gay to Stay,
yes,
you are a gay male.
Yes. And I talk about this in the show, but my parents are Pentecostal Christian missionaries and pastors. And it's not even just that they are that, they're also really prominent in the community that they are in. They teach other people how to be religious leaders and so on. And we would do family road trips growing up where we would visit all of these churches, and my dad would speak at churches across both Canada and the United States. We would also travel to other countries in Asia, and my dad would preach there. And then from these places, we were also raising money. So our entire family's livelihood was hinged on the fact that my parents were religious leaders.
Yeah.
So me being gay was a huge deal in our family. And there were lots of strange dimensions to it, because there's the one side where it's like, your parents don't accept you for who you are. That was only one level of it.
Yeah.
There's also the level of it where it's like, and you might jeopardize your family's income if people find out about this.
Yeah.
I did my best to kind of explore the elements of the story that I wanted to tell on stage, but I still feel like I could do like two different shows that go on different lenses of what happened to me, and that would still be strong.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so, so, I mean, it's a a sad story, and things that like are still happening to this day. Like families are still not welcoming with people being part of this community. So is part of your reasoning behind doing this, how much of it is to kind of help you kind of realize more and more what you went through, and how much of it is hopefully others can see this story?
This is a really good question.
Thank you.
Because wanting to help other people through what I experienced is something that's really important to me. And it's something that became important to me right away. For example, when I left the country and moved to my Christian university in Canada, in my final semester of school there, I started a queer student advocacy group at my Christian university, which was a profound thing to do, especially because that school had been sued multiple times for homophobic policies.
Wow.
It was a big deal. And that wasn't even, the other thing is that wasn't even my first try at doing it. So, beyond that, other people are just so important to me. Yeah. I guess how to say it. I also know that I feel very fortunate to have survived what I experienced.
Yeah.
I kind of talk about this in the show, but I basically survived what I experienced on a razor's edge. Like, looking back on it, I think I was supposed to die, basically, and then I just didn't. And that experience and coming out of that, and then going into the wider world, and then building a life for myself where I'm not just still here, I also feel like I am healthy. I feel like I am a valued community member. I feel like I have integrated myself in a way where I don't feel like I'm controlled by what happened to me in the past. And I think being able to reach that level is so important, to have other people who are going through things to be able to see that there's someone like that out there. And so I want to be the representation that I needed growing up. And there were some people that were like that for me. So I understand the value of that and how important it is to do that. On the other side of it, you asked about how much of it is for me. I'm going to be so honest, a lot of it is for me.
Yeah.
a lot of it is for me.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. As it should be.
Yes. There's this other side of me where I feel like as a performer, as an entertainer, I've been quietly kind of working away for many years, trying to develop who I am as an entertainer. And, a lot of my peers have told me, that I'm so talented, et cetera, et cetera. But there was this part of me that just felt like it wasn't my time to go for more, go for bigger. A big reason why that is even doing the few shows that I was doing, I was already burning out. And so I thought pushing for more was just not something I could handle, which is a big part of why I didn't pursue something like this earlier.
Right.
But I think as my career has gone on, my capacity to handle more things has gone up. So that's when I decided maybe now is the time to try it. Maybe now is the time to go for it. And that kind of brought me to doing this show. And my hope is that this is now the beginning of when I really push to try and elevate my career, because I know I have the groundwork down, and I know that I have the capacity to handle more opportunities now. And I'm like, I'm in a healthy spot. This is the time to do it.
Yeah, it's just one of those moments where everything's kind of aligning, and you're like, if not now, when?
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, so you mentioned this already, that you applied thinking maybe I won't get it. I have a description of what I want the show to be. I have a title. We got that. And then you get it. And so the lottery was in December. And so now you've been working on the show. What has this process been like for you? Has it been more exciting, more nerve-wracking, easier, harder as you've been working on the show?
There have been a few things that made it easier. One is that there's a good amount of material that is pulled from things I have done on stage previously, which is just a very smart way to handle it, because then this is some stage tested material that has been well received. So, that was kind of like foundational to how the show worked. But most of it is new. So the parts where I talk about my life growing up, a lot of those storytelling beats I wrote particularly for the show. And the challenge there was, one, you don't have that much time. And then two, what exactly do you want to say?
Right.
This was very, very challenging for me, because there's the one side where you have to clearly communicate a story that feels true and feels authentic to yourself.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, you need to make the story such that people are going to be able to connect with it and comprehend sort of what is happening. The challenge there is that when I was growing up, there was this like deep rage, I think, inside of me. And also like at the same time, this deep depression. And if I just make the show, growing up, I was angry and sad, and I'm like, screaming and crying.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard for the audience to connect to that.
Yeah.
I remember a very formational experience that happened many years ago when I was part of the coming out monologues. And I had written a monologue that was basically me yelling at my dad. That was basically what it was. During dress rehearsal for the coming out monologues, I did the whole thing where I yell at my dad for however long time I have. And the director pulled me aside. And she said to me, "Bryan, I just want you to know that there are going to be LGBTQ kids in the audience who have been like disowned, kicked out of their homes. And I just want you to think about if what you are doing today is the message that you want to send to them." And that really struck me.
Yeah.
That really struck me. And I completely rewrote my entire script during dress rehearsal, and I submitted a new thing by the end of the dress rehearsal for that show.
Wow.
And the main reason why I changed it was because I didn't want these kids to see that the other side of surviving whatever it is you're going through is you're still yelling at the same people.
Right.
Right? Like
Because it's the whole we were trying to do that it gets better situation, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Like you're surviving these horrific experiences, but for what?
Yeah.
Like if you're surviving it so that you can still be angry at your dad at 34 in the same way you were angry at your dad when you were 17, then it's like, what are we doing here? Why, like, there was no growth. And I think that's what I wanted to showcase was the growth, that there was healing there. And the growth and the healing doesn't have to mean that you forgave everybody and you decided that everything was fine actually, and we're just going to act like everything is normal. Like there can still be
you can still be mad and angry at what you felt like and what you had to go through. That is 100% acceptable. But you have grown as a human, and that's what's important.
Yeah, where I understood now that the core of who I am is not my anger at that experience. That I now have other experiences that are part of who I am. I have other perspectives around what happened to me. And it's more of that I want to bring, because I want to show people that there is hope for the queer experience.
Yeah.
That the queer experience doesn't have to be you were rejected by your community, by your family, and so now you're just going to be mad about it until the day you die because there is no forward traction of any kind. And that was something that I really wanted to bring, I guess.
Well, that's good because I think, growing up and up until really only a few years ago, but for the longest time when there were stories about from the 2S LGBTQIA plus community, when there was movies, TV shows, or books, usually tragic endings, like something bad happened, nothing good. Then you start getting some more positive things that I talk a lot about Love, Simon, Heartstoppers, like seeing stories where there's, because in the ideal world, it is easy for everybody, and a kid comes out and everyone's like, cool. Okay, what do you want for dinner is what I'm asking.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, that's not the world we live in. But if we can have these stories to show that there was some struggle, there's some difficulties, but there is a light at the end of the tunnel.
I think that, honestly, media has not done a good job of showing a lot of stories of the queer people who got the harsher treatment out the gate and then had to grow past that.
Yeah.
I think that something like Love, Simon is a great piece of media, but there's also the fact that the parents just accepted him pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So I remember sitting there watching that, and I was like, I'm happy for him, but I don't relate to that.
Right.
Because this is like the opposite of what happened to me. So I still feel like it's so important to have like a wide variety of representation. And this is why I think, whatever your queer story is, somebody needs to hear it.
Yeah.
If you're the person and you got accepted right away, you need to tell that story.
Yep.
If you're the person and you weren't accepted and it was a huge struggle for you and it took you decades to finally make some progress on that, I think that story is so valuable too. Like
if you were 10 years old and came out and everyone was like, cool. If you were waited until you were 50, 60 to come out and it was easier than you thought, but you struggled this whole time, Let's hear those stories. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone's stories matters.
And that's part of why, like, I wanted to practice what I preach, I guess you could say, and why I want to bring my story to the stage as well.
So we've kind of talked a bit about it. And again, we want people to go see the show, but what can you tell people about what they can kind of expect in this 50-minute show, Pray the Gay to Stay, your story? Are you playing multiple characters? It is all just one-man show?
So it's a solo show about my life going from being a closeted pastor's kid to openly gay stand-up comedian. I focus mainly on my childhood, growing up until I was about 18 is probably the bulk of the storytelling part. And intertwined in that, I do 3 sketch comedy characters who have nothing to do with the plot.
Okay.
I just did them because I wanted to.
It's your show.
It's my show, right? If I want to interrupt my story to do some funny characters that don't mean anything, then I can do that.
You can do
that. But I also felt this like sense of victory in being able to do that.
Yeah.
Because I realized I was no longer so attached to the idea of needing the validation that I have to use these 20 minutes so I can get every detail about my story out, because I need people to understand what happened to me so that, I can feel vindicated in what happened. I was like, I no longer need that.
Yeah.
If I want to take this time and just do something stupid, I'm fine to do that. And that was a big part of why I felt so joyful about being able to present the characters on stage during the show.
Yeah. And so, we mentioned how great fringe festivals are. There's so many around the world, but what does it mean for you to kind of your first show at the Calgary Fringe Fest?
I love Calgary so much.
Yeah.
This is kind of so growing up overseas in the Philippines, like, I love the Philippines, but there's this constant sense that I kind of am a visitor there in a weird way, but it was also my home. It was strange because growing up in that community, people were always coming and going. And my dad being Canadian, of course, I had a sense that maybe someday I would want to move to Canada. So being in the Philippines, there was this sense that, like, this is temporary.
Right.
Other Filipinos would also often treat me as a foreigner if they didn't know me. So there was also, that sense that other people in the same place also see you that way. And then when I moved to BC, I had that same sense again, where I was like, am I just here for university, and after university, I'm going to leave? Like, and that was, I graduated at 22. So, my entire life up until like the age of 22, I always had the sense that, like, where I was not really where I was going to stay. I felt very transient. And then finally, when I remember I got a one-way ticket to Calgary, whole story about how that happened. That's a different podcast. I got a one-way ticket to Calgary, and I got on the Greyhound, which no longer even exists.
Yeah.
And I remember I sat on the C train and I looked at the window and I just thought to myself, I'm home now.
Wow.
Like, that sense that, like, this is it. This is the place, just finally like landed in me right away.
Wow.
And that was a really powerful moment for me, because like I never had that. Like, a lot of people my age aspire to travel, aspire to see the world. My aspiration was to finally stay in one place.
Yeah.
was to be like, I aspire to have a hometown and live there, and everyone knows that I am from there.
Yeah.
And I just don't go anywhere. And that was the aspiration. And I feel like I finally done that. Like I've been in Calgary. It will be 12 years this December. And, I'm so glad that this is where I start. Like I call Calgary the hometown that I chose as an adult, which, is, after everything that happened in my life, being able to make my own choices is a really powerful thing to me. So yeah, it means a lot.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, and again, the Fringe is so much fun, and I'm so excited for people to go. I'm so excited just to check out some shows. It's going to be a blast. What do you want people to know if they're like been listening to this? Like, I think I want to go see the show. What's your final little sales pitch to them?
Okay. First, the show is a pretty good variety of things happening. And none of them happen for that long. Yeah. So if you're like worried that you're not going to like something, it will probably be different in about 5 minutes. Yeah. Okay. Number 2, I do have pay what you can nights available, so you can check for that. Tickets can be $5 if you want on those dates, which I believe are August 2nd and August 4th. So you can check that on the website. And let me see. Number 3, why should you come see this show? I think it's special.
Yeah.
And I know it's a little obnoxious to say that my own show is special, but like, I think it is. Yeah. So yeah, come see it.
That's awesome. Well, I mean, as we're recording this, we're like just a couple weeks away. It's coming up fast. What are you feeling right now? Like, as it's getting closer, as it becomes more real, when you could push it off, like, it's not till the summer. It's not till,
right.
It's not till a few months from now. Oh, it's not till a couple of weeks from now.
This is one of the most comfortable feelings I've had through this entire process.
Wow.
And that is because, I am somebody who works so hard at what I do.
Yeah.
So, like, the really stressful, like, push, like, frantic, what am I doing moments, those happened right away. Yeah. Those happened, like, really early on, because the weight of what I was doing landed on me immediately.
Yeah.
And so, I worked really hard for the months leading up to it. And now I'm at the point where the work has happened. And now I feel like I am so confident that there is going to be a show and it is going to be good. And the last couple of weeks are just getting the final pieces in order. So.
Being lucky as being one of the local performers. Have you been able to check out the venue yet? Have you snuck a peek?
I love the venue. I am at the Lantern in the basement.
Nice.
Which I am delighted by, because that venue is a church.
Yeah.
So I get to do Pray the Gay to Stay in a church basement, which I think is also special. But yeah, I love the Lantern. It's such a cool place. I was in I guess you call it the sanctuary, in early 2025 to do a stage play there. So this is my 2nd year in a row performing a show at the Lantern.
Nice. And so what's after this? What's after the Fringe show?
Completely different topic, but late August there's FallCon, and I will be demoing board games at FallCon, which is a totally different thing.
That is different. I like it.
But outside of that, I'll still be doing stand up here and there. I don't know when this podcast is going out, but I'm doing stand up this Sunday, which is July 19. And then, I'll probably be doing more stuff. But I know I got hired to work for the Fringe for 2027.
Nice.
So I will be involved with the Fringe that way next year. And aside from that, I'm a member of the Kinkanauts, so trying out for improv shows, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
I expect that like Pray the Gay to Stay is going to be my big project for the year.
Yeah.
And the rest of the year, I am hoping I get to finally relax.
Yeah.
Because like it wasn't even just like the Fringe Festival that is the time to work hard. Like I have been working hard since January.
Yeah.
So I am ready to sit down.
Yeah. Okay. You're ready to sit down. That is very, very fair.
Yeah.
This is a lot. This is your baby coming out to the world
Yes.
now, and I'm very excited for you. I hope this goes fantastic. I'm looking forward to coming check out the show. Yeah, I think it's going to be a blast. So congratulations on this.
Thank you.
And,
Thank you so much.
And thank you for coming on the pod today.
Thank
and
you for
chatting with
having me.
And yeah, everyone, go check out the show. Thank you so much, Bryan, for coming on to chat your new show with me and tell me a bit about your growing up. And I'm looking forward to checking out the show. It runs August 1st to the 6th. The whole Fringe Festival runs July 31st to August 8th. So lots of shows to check out. You can check out Calgary Fringe's website for full schedule. Bryan mentioned he has a couple shows that are pay what you can. Plenty of artists do that at certain times too. So if you can't reach that full benchmark of ticket prices, check out some of those shows. But these shows are fantastic and they help support the artists, which is a great thing. So full schedule up, July 31st to August 8th. Follow Bryan on Instagram. His handle is BD Sandberg. Berg is BERG. And of course, give me a follow on social media at Passing Time with Craig, PTW Craig, for all the fun ways to pass time. Otherwise, we'll chat soon. Bye.